I'm going to show you how to make a Skittles wrapper from this label that I found on the internet. Now this is, I typed in on Google search or Edge search, high res Skittles candies logo. And I found different pictures and I decided to go with this one because I think it looks like the newest package. So first thing I did was I cut it out and brought it into the software that I use, Microsoft Picture It. Now I'm going to go to cut out of picture by color selection, not by color selection, by tracing on my own, and I'm just going to take out all of this part at the bottom. Just by dragging a line and clicking the area that I want to cut out, and now I'm just going to circle around. It doesn't matter that I didn't go up to the edge because it's going to just include this portion. Sorry, I have a new puppy and she's a little whiny because she's spoiled, so bear with her. Sanda, quiet baby. Alright, so now I'm going to click the green flag. It turns yellow so that I can make any adjustments, like right in here. If I needed to pull it down or move it a little bit like I just did, I could do that. Now I'm going to click on that flag again, and I'm going to just keep this area, and I took the check mark out of here so that it will stay on this page. If I left the check mark in, it would take it to a whole new page like this one at the bottom, and I didn't want it like that, so I'm going to click done. And now, since this is all pretty much the same red, I'm going to just change this to a solid red by going to Paint and Color Effects, fill with a solid color, and then I'm going to click in that red, and as you can see, it makes that writing disappear because it changes it to red. Now I want to make a square of this red so that I can make this into a full label. So I'm going to go to cut out and picture, add a colored shape. It will default to this blue. I'm just going to click right here on this little wheel, click in the red area, and it's going to change to red, and then I'm going to click done. And I'm going to drag this down to the bottom because I want it to make up the size of the logo, which I believe is 7 by 6.5. So I'm going to make sure that it will fit. I'm going to go to Files, New. I'm going to go leave it in Landscape, but I'm going to change it, and I'm going to go down to Custom. This, I believe I can make it right in here. Yeah, I can. Okay, so I'm going to change my width to 7, which is the second number, and then I'm going to change my height to 6.5. Alright, so this is the size of the label that I got off of the paper that someone gave you in your list. So now I'm just going to bring what I started down here at the bottom. I'm just going to drag it up here to the top. And this is where I had that red square that I was putting behind it. So now I know that this is the full size of the logo. So I'm going to drag this all the way up to the top, this square, because this is the exact size of the label that you will need for your Skittles, your custom Skittles. And now I'm going to resize this. Oops, I forgot to group that. I'm going to group it with that extra piece. You can see here on the right hand side, the layers. It automatically makes a layer anytime you add something new, which is great. This one automatically does it. So I'm just going to draw anywhere outside, group that. I'm going to resize this so that it'll be enough room for crimping or the edge that you might want to put on it so that it will look like a real Skittles logo. Now I have a little white line here. I could either crop that out, but the easiest way to do it is just add another colored shape, change it to this red, and then I'm just going to drag it over to the side and just cover just that little sliver of white that was over there, just by pulling this over a little bit like that. And now I'm going to group that little sliver that I just added with the logo. And you see it makes a little puzzle piece to show you that you're grouping more than one piece. So you can see here on the right hand column I have the top and the second one joined. So I'm going to hit my little puzzle piece, and now whenever I move it, it will move as one unit. It won't move as two pieces. So I'm going to put this right back there in the about in the middle, and I'm just eyeballing this. So I'm going to show you how I do things without actually measuring. So that I can get the front of this package, I'm going to go to Size and Position, Alignment Guide, Horizontal Guide, and you see it puts a line directly across the middle of my package. So now, or my wrapper, now I'm going to make two more. I'm just going to click Horizontal Guide one more time to make a second line, and then once again to make a third line. Now they're all on top of each other, so you can't see them, but now you'll see it as I move it. Now because I need to know the front of the package, I'm going to take the second line I made and I'm going to just move it halfway, just by eyeballing it, halfway between this edge and my center line, and that looks just about perfect. And now I'm going to go once again where my third center line, and I'm going to drag it down and do the same thing here and put that about halfway. I want to just eyeball it and see if it's about halfway, and you can always go back and adjust. So this is showing me now that I have this is 7 by 7 inches wide. This is 6.5 inches wide by 7 inches long. So now by me using these lines, and this is our center line, so we want to make sure that we're not moving that one line in the center, but we're moving the extra ones that we made. And you can see right along here that all these sections are about the same size. So this automatically tells you that this is the front of your Skittle package. So I'm going to move this down a little bit because I want the edge of the Skittle to come down just about right there. You see a little red there, so that when the package is folded, this part will be on top, and this is your back sections. So now I'll show you how to add in a custom name. So if you were just going to put a photo on here and leave all of this, or if you wanted to just add their name here, you could easily do that by, once again, I'm going to go to cut out and picture. I'm going to make a shape. I'm going to switch, make that into a circle, that outside red, and then I'm just going to hit done to come out of that. I'm going to shrink this down, and I'm going to cover up original. This is one way you can add in the name without having to go through any extra work. So I'm just going to position my oval, that red oval I just made, to cover up original, and then I can go in and add in yellow, and I'll go ahead and use the font that I would use in place of this white one, as similar to Arial Black, and I would change it to white. And my name is Harriet, so I'm going to use my name. So I could either use this writing or this font, or I could use that font that looks kind of like the yellow. I can show you that again. I could use this kind of font to say Harriet's, but for now I'll just use this white because I want to show you how to make an edge around there. So now I have my white letter. I'm going to first go and add a shadow to it, like this shadow. So I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow, which would be the second choice that you don't see, but if you have the software, which I can provide you with because I have a link where you can download it, I'm going to mimic this shadow on the H. So I'm going to first go to Soft, and I don't want it down too far. I just want enough of it. My top line here I'm going to move it up for now because whenever you have any type of graphic or lettering, it will, when you run across those lines, it will snap to it. So I'm just moving it up temporarily so I can put my name on there and get this shadow where I want it. So now I'm going to right click, go to edit text, and I'm going to go ahead and write my name here. Put an S at the end. I can shrink it down some and I can even curve it if I wanted to by going to apply special effect, bend text, and then click on any one of these, and then you can adjust it by clicking on this slider either up or down to curve it however you want. So I'll just curve it a little bit like the original Skittles is curved. I'm going to hit done, turn it a little bit, hit done again, and now I'm back here, and I'm going to I'll go back to the other way that I add a shadow, but if you wanted to, you could add a shadow in here by going to apply special effects, add a shadow, and now I can move that shadow around so that I can mimic this one without having it stick to that top line. And then this shadow has like a soft edge, so I can do the same thing by going to customize the shadow. This is edge softness. I'm just going to click up on the arrow until it starts looking kind of transparent and fuzzy around the edges like this one does, to make it mimic that font, the shadow on that font. So I'm just going to click up until I get that shadow the same with the fuzzy edge. It's also a little lighter than mine, so I can click on transparency. Just click up a few times and it'll soften that shadow. I don't think I want it that soft. There we go. And then I can continue to soften that edge so that it has more of a soft edge like the one on the Skittle. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to make sure that I don't have it too far down. I want it to really kind of mimic this one. And looking at the S, I had a little farther over than it needed to be. Yeah, it's more like that. And then I'm going to hit done. And done again. And done one more time. And now I can bring my line back in, and once again I'm just going to line it up so that I have 4 equal pieces. And so now I'm seeing that I need to shrink this down some so that it won't be on the back, it'll still be on the front of my cover. And to add this red edge to my name that I'm put on there, I'm going to go to click on my name or the name that you're using, go to Edge Effects, click on Highlight Edge, which is the first choice. I'm clicking in the third choice at the bottom, which is kind of a thick red edge. I'm going to go to Customize the Edge, and then I'm just going to click on the circle, which gives me more choices, and I'm going to click right in the edge of that red around the Skittles lettering. And as you can see, my edge is red, but I want it to be a little darker because that looks a little pink. So I'm just going to click a few times down until visually it looks like it matches this other red. So now that looks like it visually matches this red. And I'm going to click done. And then I'm going to use this slider to slide over until the edge around, the red edge around my letters are about the same as the edge around the real Skittles letters. So you can move this all the way to the right and you see it makes a thick edge, and as you slide it toward the left it makes the edge thinner because I want my name to look like it belongs on here. And so I think that's just about perfect. Let me increase it a little bit more. There, that looks good. So now I've added my name. So now if I wanted to add a picture, you can add in a picture. I'm going to sharpen this a little bit. Sometimes when you group things, it might look a little less sharp. So all you have to do is click on the area, choose Special Effects, Blur or Sharpen, which is the fourth choice in the menu that comes up. And then you're just going to drag toward the right and it will sharpen it right back up for you. Alright, so now if you wanted to add a picture, and remember we're leaving this edge because that's where you're going to either do your crimp or you're going to do your pinking shears, I guess they were called, or your decorative cut edge there. So that's why I left that area open. I think I'm going to size this out a little bit. So I'm going to see if I can find a picture right quickly that I can add to the front of this to just show you how to do that. And also with this extra area, you could put in, you know, somebody's birthday or anniversary. You know, it gives you some extra room that you can add something in. But I'm going to go and find some photo that I have on here. So I'm just going to use this picture of Prince. I'm going to get rid of this at the top so that I don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to make a shape and cover that up so I can crop out all this blue at the same time. So now I'm going to go to Cut Out in Picture, Cut Out in Picture, Cut Out of Picture by color selection. I'm going to choose all similar areas, and this is how you would crop something out if it was, I have some of that showing. And now in order to crop one color, one background, a solid background like this out all at one time, it's really easy. All you do is go to Cut Out in Picture, Cut Out of Picture by color selection. I'm going to choose all similar areas, and then I'm just going to click one time in that blue and it's going to suck out all the blue. As you can see, I'm going to click Next, select opposite area, done, and then I'm going to go back to my wrapper. But before I bring him up, I think I want to put him like peeping from behind this letter. So I'm going to go to Cut Out in Picture, Cut Out of Picture by color selection. Shh, little spoiled girl. Then I'm going to click in white, the letter that I want to put him behind. Then I'm going to click on the edge of that red. And don't worry that it took out all of that, because as long as these colors are still here, we're doing fine. So I'm going to click Next and Done. Then I'm going to click here, and as you can see, it makes a new layer. You can see it right here. So now I'm going to click here on Prince, and it brings up the menu. You're not seeing this now, but if you watch some of my earlier videos, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see these extra menus. The screen capture that I use that's built into Windows for some reason does not show the the sub menus that come up in the app. But if you look at my earlier videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. So now I clicked on the picture here that I cropped Prince out of, and it brings up all the layers of that picture, and I want the top layer, which is Prince by himself. So I'm just going to left click and drag that top picture up and drop it in my space. And now I want to put him, if I put him, some people have him like covering up the letter or sitting between the letter. You can do that if you wanted to. You could do it just like that and have him down there. We're pretending that this is me since that's my name, but since we're using this picture, you can have him down there. I still see a little blue edge, so to get rid of that, I'm going to go to Edge Effect, Soften Edge, and if you click just a few times up, you see that edge will start to disappear, that blue edge. So now I'm going to click Done, and then I want to put a shadow behind his picture too, so I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow. I'm going to get the same drop shadow that I used before, and I'm going to drop it in the same direction, because shadows of course come from the way that the light is shining on an object. So the way this shadow is showing, the light is coming from this direction, so it's casting this shadow down and to the left. So we want to make sure that everything is shadowed the same. So I pull that shadow off of him just like that. I'm going to click done. And now I'm going to drag Prince down one layer under that Skittles that we had when we pulled out this white. And as you can see his chin here. But I'm going to move him up to where I want him, which is behind the S. And I'm just going to resize it. Whenever you resize in a picture, always do it from a corner. Otherwise, it's going to be out of proportion, and out of proportion is not good. So now I'm just going to shrink him down a little bit. If I wanted him there, I could shrink him down a little bit. And now it looks like he's behind that letter. So if I just wanted a small picture of him, I could put it right here. If I could also, if I wanted to, I could have cropped it out and put him over here next to the name, or I could bring him back, the layer back to the top, and put him, superimpose him over a couple of letters like that, and make him bigger. So that would be all up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and leave him small and put him behind there, just hanging out in this corner. And seeing that this is the whole front, you could even have him like down in this corner if you wanted to. It just depends on how you want to do it, or you can have multiple pictures going around this open edge. So now you've made your Skittles cover. This is one way to do it. The other way is to use the letters to replace where it says Skittles, and for that all you would do is go and search on the internet in a browser for Skittles Logo. You could look for just the rainbow, because they have some pictures where it's just the rainbow, and then you could put your own writing across there. And I'll show you how it would look if I moved this down to go across here. By clicking on this blank sheet of paper here, I'm going to choose paste, go to cut out of picture by color selection, and I'm going to choose the background. Now I'm going to go to next and select opposite area, and now it will bring the rainbow to the forefront. I'm going to hit done, and now as you can see I have the rainbow alone. So I'm going to go once again to my label, and I'm going to bring up just the rainbow. I'm going to superimpose it over the rainbow that's there. And you can look for Skittles, those Skittles, extra Skittles candies. I'm going to drag this down to mimic the Skittle, the word Skittle. Now I'm going to ungroup this because I want to get rid of that original one. As a matter of fact, I think I'll just move it to the back because I don't want to delete it. So I'm going to move those to the back. I'm going to bring my prints up to the front. I'm going to grab my Harriet. I'm going to bring it up to the top layer as well. Stretch it out. I can bring Skittle up so I can know where to put it, how big I want it. So I'm just going to drag it from the corner so that I can mimic the curve of Skittle and make it the same height of Skittle. And now I'm going to drag the Skittles down to the bottom layer. And I have Harriet. I'm going to bring Prince back to the top layer by dragging him up one layer, or the picture. And then for this one I could put, if this were, my picture, I could put it there. And now I just need some Skittles candies to put around the edge. And you can once again get those by going to the internet and looking for high res. I always start any search with high res when I'm searching on the internet so that I can get the best copy of the picture that I can find. So I'm going to look for high res Skittles candy. I can use this rainbow. Let me get rid of the extra ones. And I can use this rainbow to place the Skittles to mimic this the way they're set up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click paste. And they might not be exactly the same as on the label, but believe me, nobody will notice that unless they're holding a package of Skittles. I'm going to cut that black edge off because I'm going to draw out the rest of that area without having to do each particular color. So I'm going to hit next and done. I'm going to delete that back layer, and now that the white is gone, I'm just going to pull out what I need. I'm just resizing this so that it will cover everything behind it, so that I can just pull out just the background, the gray and white background. So I'm going to go to cut out of picture by color selection, and I'm just going to click in that background, and looks like it got everyone pretty much except for these two. So I'm going to reset that, and I'm going to drop it down to 1. And then I'm just going to drag a little bit, and I'll drag a little bit around this shadow. It doesn't matter if you leave in some of the shadow, because I think they're a little shadowed on the actual label. So I'm going to hit next, and now I'm going to select opposite area to keep the colorful portion. I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to get rid of that lower layer of Skittles, the original. So I'm just going to position these by looking at this label so that it mimics the original candy label. And I have some going off right there because I want these to look like they're all different candies. I can even shrink it in a little bit, and then I'm going to copy that and paste it. They have some over here, and then I'm going to make one more, and I'm going to flip it so it won't look exactly the same as all of these. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to hit size and position, flip, and I'm going to choose mirrored. And now I want to change all of these shadows so they're all the same. So I'm going to click this one, I'm going to click this one and this one. Let me shrink this one down a little bit first, because some of them are smaller because they're a little farther away. These would be more in the forefront. These would be a little smaller than these, just by looking at the picture here. And I'm gonna put that in a little bit so these look more round and a little different from these. And now I'm going to change all their shadows so that they're all the same. So I'm going to click on all of them, or you can do the drag across to get them all. And before I group it, I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow, and I'm going to remove the shadows on all of them. Now I'm going to group them. Go to Special Effects and Shadows. And now oops, did I group I think I grouped the rainbow too. Let me take the rainbow out. So now I just have my candies. I'm going to go to Special Effects Shadow, make it soft, and then I'm just going to drag it down a little bit to the side so that it mimics the candies that are here already. And then I'm going to take this into my label that I made, or my wrapper that I was making. I'm going to click on the picture where I have the candies grouped, and I'm just going to drag those up and drop them in my picture. I'm going to take them behind my name, but on top of the rainbow which you see me doing in this layer over here. And then I'm just going to reposition them and shrink them down. And if you didn't want to have all these, all of these candies, you could definitely take some out. It's just your preference. You can crop out just a few to use, or you can use all of these like I did. And I'm just going to resize it so that it looks a little similar to the original label. And that's how you would make it with using the name. And I'll bring that Skittles back to the top so you can see it looks pretty similar. You mimic it pretty well by using that font and just putting that red edge around it. So this is the original here at the bottom, and that's the one that you can quickly make. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this back to the bottom and show you how to finish out this label. So you would go to, I always add my QR code and the name of my company to my label. And what you need to keep in mind is when this is folded, this part will be the top of the writing here will line up to the top of the writing here. So I'm going to make my text box. I'm going to go to text, add a text box. I'm going to drag it up here. I'm going to hit done. But this text box needs to be flipped. So I'm going to go to size and position, rotate, and I'm going to do half turn. So for the back cover, for where you're going to put your writing and logo, both of these will need to be upside down. So I'm going to just copy this text box and paste it right down here. And I'm going to go to my party file and get my business card that I usually use on the back of the packages and my QR code. I'm going to hit open. Then I'm going to switch back to my label. I'll drag my card up. I'll put my card on the bottom. So I'm going to go to size and position, rotate. I'm going to do the half turn, hit done, and then I'll shrink it down and put it on this back label. And remember, you have to have an edge for your glue. So I'll put it here. And here you can say, thank you for coming to my party. I'm going to right click, choose edit text, and then type in whatever you want your message to be. Hit done, shrink that down some. I'll put my QR code, do the same thing, go to size and position, rotate, do a half turn, hit done, shrink it down, put it there, and you can put your information. I'm just going to grab one from a chip bag that I already made for a Fortnite party. I'm just going to drag it up, and you can have a little one on the back. I'm going to go once again to size and position, rotate, half turn, done, shrink it down. You can either put it this way or the long way. So we have that. Then we can have the thank you for coming to my party, which I put 2 Y's there. Or whatever you wanted to put on the back panels. And you've just made your own Skittles logo 2 different ways, like the original one. So there you have it. Hopefully this is helpful to you. If you like the software that I use, contact me on at Harriet Homes, or inbox me and I will send you a link so you can download the software.